Hey friends, welcome back to the stock homestead. Today we are out at our high tunnel. And when I put this up, I wasn't thinking ahead. And when I put this floor down, I've done a lot of experience with excavation and things like that, and building pads and things, but I didn't really think about water mitigation inside the building. Duh, we gotta water the thing. And so what's happened is, even though we've got this fabric down that's perfectly placed, all the beds are up, it's a wonderful space, except the ground always stays wet. Because it's obviously, there's a lot of moisture and humidity and things in here, but it always stays wet, and so it constantly grows algae and moss, and it gets ultra slick, and it's just unpleasant to be in. We had a similar situation back here. You can see in our garden pads back here. I built those pads too out of clay, and when we balanced it all out and all those things, I put just topsoil down, and it stayed wet and gross and stuff all the time too. And so the process we used up there in a large scale is the process we're going to use in here in a small scale, because the garden pad up here is absolutely amazing now. And we're going to do the same thing down here, and we're going to jump into it and show you how I did it. Now, as you saw from the photos from the upper garden pad, we actually use regular under drain for that. It's a big 6-inch under drain with lots of big stone and things like that. Well, the space inside the high tunnel doesn't warrant that size of material, but they don't really make, at least not that I have seen locally, pipe that's corrugated that is small enough for the application. So what I did is I actually made it. And so let's flip the camera on here and I'll show you kind of what we did and throw in some extra videos so you can see the process of making this pipe we're using. So as you can see right here, this is 1.25 inch thin wall PVC pipe. It's just used for drain stuff. And I drilled holes, as you can see right here in this video. We drilled holes on the top and on the sides of these links. There are 10-foot links, and then we drilled holes top and the sides, and then left the bottoms don't have holes so that they will carry the water out of the trenches. The other thing that we did to extend the longevity is I used just some simple filter fabric, really, that we had left over from when we did the work on the lower garden pad. This is super cheap. I've had it just sitting in the shop, like I said, left over, but this is available at any big box store, and it's just for under drain. It's just to keep the silt and stuff from getting in here and clogging up your holes and all that sort of stuff. So back here at the high tunnel, what we're going to do is basically this part of the floor back here. The elevation's just enough that the water doesn't run back under here very far. I think the irrigation pipe probably helps that. But the low spot really is down here between these beds. There's 4 runs, one along the wall right there, one here between these 2 beds, one here between these 2 beds, and then one again against this other wall. So what we're going to do is, in each one of these areas, we're going to cut we're going to pull that fabric back, cut it and pull it back, and just build a small trench. Just dig a real small trench, enough to fit the pipe in with just a little bit of space around it. Same thing on this one. This will go all the way down, and the same for the ones all the way across. And then these pipes will come together right up here, and they'll connect with an elbow over there, and then come across and connect with a T right here, a T right here, a T right here, and then ultimately it'll go out and exit underneath the baseboard out onto the slope. And then on top of all of that, we'll get filled several inches of that 1/2-inch stone from up in the garden pad. So I won't bore you with all the digging. I'll maybe just do some time-lapse stuff real quick. But once the trenches are done and the pipe's in, I'll show you kind of where we're going from there. So this, laying these lines out, I'm just doing kind of roughly down the middle. And how this soil is, it's got kind of a little crust on the top of it. So in order to try and make these somewhat clean, I'm going through and I'm just kind of chopping that little top through so that when I come in and dig the thing, it's just a little bit cleaner edge, and how it's easier to clean out with actually this shovel right here. That's what I moved. I started working with the pick or the Mattix, and it just wasn't as efficient, and I actually saw this sitting over in the food forest, went and grabbed that, and it actually worked out pretty good for the width of these that we're doing. So I'm gonna finish doing this, and then we'll dig this one out, and then we'll start looking at the pipe, talking about the pitch, and how we make sure that all the stuff is gonna drain like it's supposed to. All right, now most of the hard work, not all the hard work, but most of the hard work is done. All the trenches down the middle of the walkway are dug. And one of the things that I want to show you is really the importance of making sure everything runs the direction it's supposed to. You might even be able to tell if this ditch, even visibly, is deeper than what you see up there. But we're going to, sometimes how things look can be deceiving, so we're actually going to throw a level on this pipe and really show the pitch and make sure that it's going the direction that it's supposed to, and that we didn't do all this work for nothing. So you notice this is the pipe, one of the pipes that we made, and it's got the fabric over top of it to keep the silt from getting into the pipe. You'll notice that the top hole is right there, side hole, and so the bottom that doesn't have the holes is sitting on the bottom of the trench. And so we put our level on here, and we want it to be where it's going downhill. It doesn't, you notice it doesn't have to be a lot. It's just past the left edge of that line. So if I pick up the downhill side, you can see it levels out. But that little bit of pitch is plenty for this distance. Biggest thing is verifying that there's some fall to it, because that'll carry the water away. I'm going to make sure that it's not like that, because that would be flowing the wrong direction, which is what we obviously don't want. So just a little bit of fall, that's all it really needs. So now that the pipe is in, we're going to bed this pipe with a little bit of stone. Filling our trench in, just like that. Just get enough stone just to bed that in. So we'll do that for all of this pipe and all of the rest of them, and then they'll come together. This gets a T right here, and then this will get a T right here and an elbow over there, and then this will go out and exit under the baseboard right there. So once I get all that in, show you how that looks. Well, busy day, but all of the pipes are in, stones in, and all of the walkways. I started putting the stone in, and I kind of thought it might be worth showing you how we're moving all of the stone. Besides digging the actual ditches, this bit is the most labor intensive. Like any homestead, we have an abundance of buckets, and we have a pile of this 1/2 inch stone, and so we're just kind of using the small buckets to fill the big buckets, throwing them on the trailer behind the buggy, and then just walking them in here and dumping them out, and then raking everything out and leveling it all out. So that's if you were curious how we were getting all this material around, it's the hard way. So the high tunnel floor project is finished up, all the drainage is done, all the stone is in, and so I want to show you how it turned out and how it's working, because it's kind of pretty cool. Let's check this out. So it's all the stone. I've been watering for probably 30 minutes. And before we did this work, these paths, they just had the fabric over top of the dirt, and it would just hold water here and just all be squishy and muddy and gross and very unpleasant to be in. And so as you can see now, it's just man, it's nice and solid, and it's not squishy, just pleasant to walk on. And yeah, huge improvement. But one of the really cool things is to see where the water that would normally be pooling in here and making a mess is actually going. So you saw all the piping that went in, and it now exits over here. And so all the water that would normally be messing up the floor is now being wicked away and directed out to drain out the side of the high tunnel. So yeah, that's how we deal with the floor and the ground in our garden pad, or really just don't want to be stomping around in the mud. So if you're doing a high tunnel, I really recommend doing this maybe in the process of while you're putting this stuff down, so you don't have to come back and do it after the fact. It's much easier to do with a piece of equipment too. If you have a little mini hoe or something like that, you can dig these trenches and put all the stuff in before you ever put the high tunnel up. But anyway, hopefully that's a good tip for you. Any place where you have kind of soggy, gross ground in your garden, you can actually use this technique to whisk all that stuff away and make it a much more pleasant place to be. Hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and we'll get back to you. As always, please like and subscribe if you can. We'd appreciate that very much. And whatever you do, grow regardless.